was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn. And
Justin Bieber just dropped an audio bombshell that had Diddy completely stunned in court. This wasn't your usual drama. This was raw, explosive, and packed with receipts no one saw coming. As Justin's audio played in the courtroom, Diddy's face said it all. Because in that audio, Justin didn't hold back. He named names. Let me fill you in. This major plot twist has dropped right in the middle of Diddy's federal sex trafficking trial, which kicked off on May 12th, 2025, in Manhattan. The timing is giving main character energy, coming just days into what's already the most dramatic celeb court saga since the Depp Heard era. On May 15th, 2025, Justin Bieber's representative came through with a statement to TMZ that's got everyone in the comments going wild. The statement read, "Although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve." This carefully crafted message is giving PR masterclass vibes, as it's the first time Bieber has officially addressed all the Suez speculation about his teenage hangouts with Diddy, which have been under the microscope since Combs got arrested in September 2024. The statement wasn't just flying solo, it came with receipts from multiple sources in Bieber's circle who spilled to TMZ that Combs never sexually or otherwise abused Bieber, and that their public moments together were just performative for the cameras. These insiders clarified that Bieber was actually tight with Diddy's sons, Quincy and Justin Combs, who were closer to his age bracket, rather than having a direct connection with the music mogul himself. To fully grasp why this statement is such a big deal, we need to rewind and look at the Bieber-Diddy timeline, which began when Bieber was just a baby-faced teen heartthrob. The interactions that seemed harmless back then have aged like milk after the allegations against Diddy dropped, and now everyone's rewatching those clips with major side-eye. Justin Bieber, born March 1st, 1994, was a literal child at 14 when he first linked up with Sean Diddy Combs around 2008. This happened right after Bieber had signed with Usher and Scooter Braun's RBMG Records, setting off his glow-up from YouTube cover singer to global superstar. At the time, Diddy was pushing 40 and was a massive name in the music biz as the founder of Bad Boy Entertainment. The major age gap and power dynamic between teenage Bieber and established mogul Diddy is now raising all kinds of red flags for people questioning their relationship. One of the most analyzed interactions is from November 2009, when Bieber, at 15, posted a video to his official YouTube channel titled "Justin Bieber's 48 HRS with Diddy." The footage shows Diddy flexing on camera by presenting Bieber with a silver Lamborghini, saying,
"As soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you rock this every time you feel it. Yeah, this gonna be yours."
But what's got the comment section spiraling is Diddy's super weird description of their time together. In the same video, he says,
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
Diddy then pulled a super cringe comment that's aged terribly.
You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
When asked what he wanted to do during their 48 hours together, Bieber answered, "Let's just go get some girls." To which Diddy replied, "A man after my own heart." That exchange hits totally different in 2025, NGL. Another sussy moment caught on camera is from 2010, when Bieber was 16. In the clip, Diddy appears to call out Bieber, saying, "What's up, man? You good? Selling out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You haven't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out." Bieber responds with awkward energy, "Well, I mean, you haven't. You tried to get in contact with me through all my, my partners and whatnot, but you never really got my number." Diddy then offers to give Bieber his number. This interaction is giving major power play vibes, with Diddy trying to flex his influence over young Bieber, though there's no receipts for actual misconduct. The most yikes-worthy appearance came in 2011, when Bieber and Diddy hit up Jimmy Kimmel Live. During this interview, Diddy dropped some cryptic lines about their relationship, saying, "We've become friends in a strange way." He added something that's now sending chills down everyone's spines.
And he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother
brother Puff on national television. Apparently not. Some things, everything ain't for everybody.
These comments, which were just weird flex at the time, are hitting way different now with all the serious allegations against Diddy. These resurfaced clips have Twitter Nancy Drews and TikTok detectives going hard with theories about what really went down during Bieber's teen years. Despite all the Suez behavior on camera, sources have repeatedly told TMZ that Bieber's interactions with Diddy were just industry networking and clout chasing, which is totally normal in the music business for up-and-coming artists. These insiders keep saying Bieber was actually closer to Diddy's sons, who were closer to his age, and deny any inappropriate behavior, insisting that Diddy never abused Bieber, sexually or otherwise. But plot twist. A Daily Mail report from October 2024, before the trial, quoted an anonymous source claiming Bieber was so disturbed by the Diddy news and is unwilling to process it or discuss it, so he has shut off. The tea-spiller added, "So many people who helped to make him who he is were very close to Diddy, and it has completely thrown him." This suggests Bieber was in his feels about Combs' arrest, though it doesn't confirm he was actually victimized. On the collab front, Bieber and Diddy did work together on Diddy's 2023 album, The Love Album Off the Grid, where Bieber dropped a feature. However, sources later spilled to the Daily Mail that Bieber had major regrets about this collab, saying he wouldn't have done it if he'd known about Diddy's alleged activities. This tea adds another layer to their complicated history and hints that Bieber was already distancing himself from Diddy before everything went public. We can't understand the full impact of Bieber's statement without looking at Diddy's current legal drama, which includes serious federal charges that have the entire entertainment industry gagging. Sean Diddy Combs got hit with indictments in September 2024 on charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He pleaded not guilty and said no to a plea deal. If found guilty, he's looking at a minimum of 15 years and potentially life behind bars. Federal prosecutors are alleging that Diddy ran a criminal enterprise through his business empire, including Bad Boy Entertainment, getting up to all kinds of illegal activities like sex trafficking, forcing women and male sex workers into drug-fueled freak-offs, recorded sexual performances that sometimes lasted days. Participants were allegedly pressured with drugs or threats, and recordings were used as collateral to keep them quiet. The charges also include racketeering, as Diddy is accused of running a network of associates and employees to facilitate crimes, including kidnapping, forced labor, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, dating back to at least 2004. On top of that, Diddy is facing accusations of physical and sexual abuse, including assaulting women through punching, kicking, and dragging. A specific incident from 2016, showing an assault on his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, was caught on hotel security footage and has been making the rounds online. The trial, which started on May 12, 2025, has already served major drama. The jury selection locked in with 12 men and 6 women. In opening statements, prosecutors painted Diddy as a manipulative abuser hiding behind his celebrity status, while defense attorney Tenny Garagos clapped back that his relationships were consensual and just part of a swinger lifestyle. Cassie Ventura has taken the stand, spilling details about abuse and freak-offs while being cross-examined by defense attorney Anna Estevao, who tried to suggest she was a willing participant, pulling up receipts with explicit text messages. Bieber's statement dropped during Ventura's testimony, which definitely ramped up public interest in Diddy's past relationships with young artists like Bieber. The timing of Bieber's statement, right in the middle of Diddy's trial and during Ventura's testimony, seems like a strategic move to protect Bieber's reputation and create distance from the scandal, especially now that he's a family man with wife Hailey Bieber and their baby boy Jack Blues. Social media has been in an uproar about this whole situation, and one of the loudest voices in this call-out has been former Playboy model Precious Muir, who attended Diddy's parties and has been going off about the lack of supervision during Bieber's teenage years. In multiple spicy interviews, Muir blasted Bieber's parents for not being physically present to shield their son from Diddy, describing Diddy as very good at convincing people to get involved in sketchy activities. There is no way that their parents should have left their children with this man by themselves. The parents should have been present, Muir stated with big, "I told you so" energy. She stressed that young stars need guardians to keep them safe from industry predators, pointing out that nobody in Diddy's inner circle was going to prioritize a child's well-being over clout and connections. Muir didn't just stop at the parents. She came for Usher too. She argued that as Bieber's mentor, Usher should have been the one making sure Bieber was protected, especially since Usher had his own Suez history with Diddy. This point is giving major history repeating itself vibes when you look at Usher's own backstory with Diddy, which has some eerie parallels to what happened with Bieber. The whole Usher-Diddy situation started in the early 1990s when Usher was just trying to blow up as an R&B singer. At the tender age of 13, after signing with LaFace Records under co-founder Antonio L.A., Reed Usher got shipped off to live with Diddy in New York City for about a year in 1993 to 1994, Bieber to develop his artistry. Diddy, who was 23, 24 at the time, and building his Bad Boy Records empire, was considered the ultimate tastemaker in hip-hop and R&B. Reed's decision to send Usher to Diddy was supposedly about giving him swagger, or flavor, because LaFace's music was apparently too soft and pretty. Major yikes in retrospect. This setup, which Diddy called Puffy Flavor Camp, had Usher living in Diddy's home and being thrown into the fast-paced, adult-oriented music industry lifestyle. Diddy literally became Usher's legal guardian during this period, which he later flexed about in that 2009 video with 15-year-old Justin Bieber, saying he had the same guardianship over Usher for his debut album. Usher has spilled the tea about his time with Diddy in several interviews over the years, and the vibes range from thankful for career advice to low-key traumatized by what he saw. In his 2016 Howard Stern Show appearance, Usher got more specific about his year with Diddy, calling it pretty wild and mentioning very curious things taking place that he didn't necessarily understand at that age. When Stern asked if Diddy's home was just orgying non-stop, Usher clarified, "Nah, not really," but admitted seeing some things and being exposed to the lifestyle. The most telling moment? When asked if he'd send his own kids to a puffy camp, Usher straight up said, "Hell no," which is a pretty clear sign he knew that environment was toxic for a child. With all these receipts about his own experiences with Diddy, critics like Muir are asking the obvious question: why would Usher let Bieber, at 15, anywhere near Diddy? Adding more fuel to the fire, rapper Freddie P called Usher a demon who enabled Diddy's alleged abuse of Bieber. He suggested that Usher, having been through Diddy's influence himself, should have known better than to introduce Bieber to him. This has added to the narrative that Usher was either negligent or complicit in exposing Bieber to Diddy. As for Bieber's parents, the criticism is focused on Patty Millette and Jeremy Bieber's apparent failure to properly monitor their son during his rise to fame. Sources close to Bieber, quoted by Daily Mail and other outlets, claimed he was thrown to the wolves by his parents, who let him party with Diddy and other adults as a teenager. One insider didn't hold back, saying, "The singer should never have been allowed to party with Diddy or anyone else when he was a teen." These sources argue that the lack of parental oversight left Bieber vulnerable during his most formative years. Patty Millette, who raised Bieber solo after splitting with Jeremy shortly after Justin was born, has been particularly dragged for trusting Diddy as a mentor figure. In her 2012 memoir, Nowhere But Up, the story of Justin Bieber's mom, Millette expressed worries about her son forming unhealthy long-term relationships due to fame, but never specifically mentioned Diddy. Reports suggest she had no clue about Diddy's alleged criminal activities at the time, since no public accusations had come out yet. Still, critics are saying her naivety or thirst for Bieber's success led her to put too much trust in sketchy industry figures like Diddy. Radar Online spilled that Millette, desperate to support Bieber's rising star, unknowingly pushed him into Diddy's orbit, thinking Diddy could help her son level up in his career. Her own traumatic background, abuse from age 3, substance issues, and a suicide attempt at 17, might have affected her judgment as she tried to juggle single motherhood and poverty while promoting Bieber's talent. Critics argue that her personal struggles don't excuse the lack of oversight, though. Jeremy Bieber, who was mostly MIA during Justin's early years due to his time behind bars when Justin was born, and his rocky relationship with Millette, is getting called out for not being a protective father figure. Sources say his absence left Millette making all the big decisions by herself. The Standard made a fair point that the entire industry failed Bieber, with adults beyond his parents, interviewers, TV hosts, and other celebrities normalizing inappropriate behavior. This wider failure spreads the blame beyond just Millette and Jeremy. Beyond his parents and Usher, other figures have entered the chat about Bieber's relationship with Diddy, most notably former Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight. In a 2024 prison interview with former mobster Michael Franzese, Knight claimed that Diddy molested both Usher and Bieber during their teenage years. Knight alleged Diddy sent Bieber on romantic vacations with older men and had an inappropriate relationship with Usher, including sharing a bed during a music project that produced no actual songs. While Knight's claims have no receipts and come from a biased source, he's a known Diddy rival. They intensified the scrutiny on the relationships between these figures. Knight's allegations were backed up by Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, who claimed music executives told him Diddy abused a young Usher so severely that he was hospitalized with bleeding from the butt. Deal said he didn't know it was Usher at the time, but heard about a child being sent to the hospital after abuse by Diddy. These claims are unverified, with no medical records or official reports as backup. Deal's statements are basically hearsay, since he's quoting unnamed executives rather than sharing first-hand observations. Rapper 50 Cent has been calling out Diddy's behavior for years, and now he's giving major "I told you so" vibes. In one video, 50 Cent reacts to a clip of Diddy interacting with Bieber. In another clip, 50 Cent makes even more direct accusations. While 50 Cent's comments don't have hard evidence, they represent what many in the industry have been saying, that they had suspicions about Diddy's behavior for years, but felt powerless to speak up because of his massive influence and connections. The tea spilled in Justin Bieber's Bieber's statement and the ongoing allegations against Diddy are serving more than just celebrity gossip. They're exposing the toxic power dynamics in the music industry, the vulnerability of child stars, and the desperate need for a major industry reset to protect young talent. As Diddy's trial continues to drop bombshells daily, the conversation about who knew what and who failed to protect who is getting more heated by the minute. The media coverage of Bieber's statement has been absolutely everywhere, showing just how significant this moment is while Diddy's trial unfolds. TMZ broke the story on May 15, 2025, emphasizing that Bieber was not claiming to be a victim, but that his team wanted to clear his name while still supporting Diddy's accusers. TMZ's Harvey Levin discussed the statement on air, insisting that nothing untoward happened between Bieber and Diddy. Levin spilled more details in a video segment.
We're told that he didn't really have any relationship with Diddy, that all of these videos are performative, and that Justin was friends with Diddy's two sons, but it really wasn't any kind of a relationship with Diddy.
Levin then shared the receipts from Bieber's team.
We contacted Justin's reps, and we kind of laid out what we found. And we said, look, this is what, multiple people have been telling us who were in his life, and are no longer, and also people who are in his life now. So we've talked to both. And I think that's really important because he's jettisoned so many people in his life. And they thought about it for a while and then contacted us back, and they actually gave us an on-the-record statement that Justin is not a victim of Diddy's. They said that there are other victims and they don't want to detract from them, but they said that Justin is not a victim of Diddy.
The story went super viral, with every outlet jumping on it. Daily Mail highlighted Bieber's emotional distress after Combs' arrest, citing earlier sources, but aligned with the statement's denial of victimhood. Unilad, The Mirror, Economic Times, and other media jumped on the performative angle of Bieber's appearances with Diddy and his call to focus on the real victims. The Star, India Times, and Metro UK framed it as Bieber breaking his silence to clear the air, noting fan concerns over those resurfaced clips and Bieber's recent erratic behavior. Believers have been worried about Justin's appearance and behavior throughout 2024 to 2025, pointing out his disheveled look, chaotic social media activity, and his tense interactions with paparazzi. Many have linked these signs to trauma from his early industry days, including his US time with Diddy, though there's no concrete proof connecting these behaviors to abuse by Diddy specifically. The statement tried to shut down the victim narrative, but it didn't fully kill the speculation. The timing of Bieber's statement, dropping right in the middle of Combs' trial and during Ventura's testimony, seems like a calculated PR move for several key reasons. First, with over 100 lawsuits name-dropping celebrities alongside Combs, Bieber's early connection risked damaging his image, especially now that he's in his family era with wife Hailey Bieber and baby Jack Blues. Second, the statement aimed to shut down the fake news spreading online, as those resurfaced videos had racked up millions of views and created a false narrative about potential victimization. By clarifying these were standard industry interactions and not evidence of anything sus, Bieber's team tried to regain control of the story. Finally, by acknowledging the individuals who were genuinely harmed, the statement positioned Bieber on the right side of history, avoiding accusations of dismissing or enabling Diddy's alleged behavior. The statement had both W's and L's in addressing all the tea about Bieber and Diddy. On the W side, it gave clarity by flat-out denying Bieber was a victim, backed by multiple sources, cutting through the noise. It also redirected the spotlight to Combs' actual accusers, showing respect for the serious nature of the trial, and provided context for the performative public appearances, explaining why those videos seemed so cringe in retrospect. On the L side, Bieber himself didn't speak directly, which some fans saw as sus, especially given reports about how shook he was. The statement also didn't fully explain why Diddy's comments came off so creepy, leaving room for continued speculation. Plus, dropping it mid-trial meant it risked getting overshadowed by Ventura's bombshell testimony. The legal stakes in this drama couldn't be higher. Combs' defense team, led by Mark Agnifilo, has framed his relationships as consensual, arguing that freak-offs were just part of a swinger lifestyle and not criminal. They've tried to undermine Ventura's credibility, suggesting she was a willing participant, which indirectly contrasts with Bieber's team's insistence of no victimization. This defense strategy might have prompted Bieber's statement to avoid getting dragged into Combs' narrative. The trial has name-dropped celebs like Britney Spears, Michael B. Jordan, and J. Lo Kama, increasing the scrutiny on everyone who ever worked with Combs. Bieber's statement proactively distanced him from this this mess, unlike others who've stayed silent. The courtroom ban on cameras and the trial's focus on systemic abuse amplify its cultural impact, making Bieber's statement a significant side plot. The allegations and concerns about Diddy and his interactions with young artists like Bieber and Usher highlight how vulnerable child stars are in an industry that often prioritizes bag chasing over protection. Media personalities like Megyn Kelly have called out celebrities, including Usher, for their silence after Diddy's arrest, arguing that those in Diddy's circle should speak up about what they knew. Kelly specifically highlighted Bieber's young age during his Diddy era, implying that mentors like Usher had a responsibility to protect him. Looking at the bigger picture beyond Bieber's specific situation, this whole mess raises serious questions about how the entertainment industry treats young talent. The case exposes the vulnerability of child stars, as Bieber's exposure to Diddy at 15, facilitated by industry figures like Usher, shows how young artists can be put in sketchy situations without proper adult supervision. It questions whether so-called mentorship programs for young artists like Diddy's Flavor Camp actually help develop talent or just serve as ways to control and manipulate young stars. The trial itself, expected to last 8 weeks, will continue serving fresh tea and potentially dragging more celebs into the spotlight. As it unfolds, it may provide more context for the relationships between Diddy, Usher, and Bieber, and expose the toxic culture that allegedly enabled Diddy's behavior for decades. As Diddy's trial continues and more tea gets spilled, the full extent of his alleged crimes and their impact on the industry will become clearer. For now, Bieber's statement serves as a reminder of the human cost of these allegations and the importance of focusing on those who have genuinely suffered rather than on baseless speculation. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to watch another fascinating video like this, click on one of the boxes on your screen right now.